I think we're live now. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. It should be coming up again. Let's try this again.
Testing.
They're always trying to prevent me from going live for some reason. I don't know what it is. There's always a technical difficulty.
Crazy. They want to see a black man down. It's crazy. Can you hear me? Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. It's just I don't know what's going on. Today's not my day.
Hey, take a deep breath. You woke up today. Makes it a good day. Come on.
I'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties that have been going on the last couple of days, but we are live right now with High Velocity. I have Andres joining us. Greg Polius will be joining us in this couple of seconds. We're getting him on. We also have our MLB Insider is also going to be joining us as well. Again, I'd like to apologize to all the fans who are watching. Normally, we are on our A game when it comes to having everything in order, but the last couple of days, I don't know if it's people don't want me going on or the media gods are against me, but we are here for High Velocity opening day. Andres, how excited are you for this day right now?
Bro, like I said before, excited is an understatement. For me personally, baseball is like 1A, 1B along with soccer or football, like real people call it. So I'm very excited to watch baseball. You know, it's like America's pastime. Growing up, watching with my dad and stuff, learning about the game. Now that I'm a certified journalist, being a correspondent, graduating, learning more things about the game, learning more things every day. Let's fast forward to 225. Let's get this thing going.
Andrew, thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm in the middle of work. I know everyone is in the middle of work, so I appreciate the patience. Normally, we are on our A game, but thank you for joining us. How excited are you for the season?
Very, man. I got 3 screens set up at my desk right now. 1 for work, 2 for games, and then my phone for another.
That's amazing. So the first opening segment, again, I wanted to do is pretty much highlight the schedule and for us to go down. Clearly, we have some games that have been postponed due to weather, inclement weather. The Mariners and the Twins were postponed, and the Reds and the Yankees were also postponed. So those games were rescheduled. But I guess to kick us off, we have the Brewers and the Cubs at 2:20. You guys pretty much know the schedule. Greg, I'd like to apologize for having my technical issues, but they got resolved. So we're ready to go High Velocity.
We're here.
Yes, we're here. How excited are you for the baseball season?
Man, listen, I already started playing. So, now it's just a matter of watching the pros do it. So I couldn't wait for it.
So as I was saying, we had 2 games that already been postponed because of inclement weather. The Red Sox and the Yankees are postponed, the Mariners and the Twins. But to kick us off today, we have the Brewers and the Cubs at 2:20. Looking at the schedule, what game stands out to you that you'll be paying close attention to? Andrew, let me start off with you first.
My game of the day is Astros Angels. Obviously, from Ohtani and Trout are must-see TV. But on the Astros end, you got 2 guys I'm looking at, really closely. Framber Valdez, I think, is a Cy Young sleeper, and then Jeremy Pena, who's the heir apparent to Carlos Correa. So I think for me, that's the game of the day.
Andres?
Oof. You know what? I'm gonna be different. I'm not gonna. It's gonna be boring if all 4 of us say the same thing. So I'm gonna go out of a limb and say Brewers Cubs because Corbin Burns is must-see TV. He won the Cy Young last year. A lot of people were debating if Scherzer should have won it or if he shouldn't have. But if you look at Corbin Burns' numbers last year, man, it was literally like a video game. Like you turn on all the sliders in the show and you pitch at will. So I'm gonna be tuning into watching Corbin Burns go for that back-to-back possibly.
Greg?
So while I do agree with Khan, especially since I drafted Jeremy Pena on my fantasy team, really excited about that. I'm going to actually go Cards, Pirates. Pirates got a lot of good young players. I mean, they're not all up yet, but I'm interested to see what Brubaker can do. And also because this is Waino's, this is kind of his farewell tour, right?
One last dance.
Yeah, I want to see how him, Yachty, and Pujols do. So I think that's something to keep our eye on all season.
Now, when we look at heading into the season, we had a lot of rule changes. What team do you think it affects the most when it comes to the rule changes? Greg, let me start with you.
All the National League pitchers, not just one team, because it was almost like there were 3 easy outs in the first 6 innings of a game or 7 innings of a game because you had to face the pitcher. Now you're an actual hitter, that changes how you approach a lineup from a pitching perspective. So I think the style of play in the National League will change. You will start seeing some, teams go with the quote unquote on base percentage and big bopper approach where guys get on base and guys try to hit home runs and drive them in, as opposed to the bunt, move them over, small ball approach.
Andrew, for you, in terms of the rule changes, agreeing and just furthering what Greg said?
Yeah, I'm with Greg there. I'm pretty much in line with that. You had a lot of teams, for example, like the Mets, they had 3 or 4 guys who were on the bench because, defensive reasons or just logjam of position. They're going to benefit greatly from the DH. I think also just keeping guys healthy in the National League, you're going to have, an open roster spot, extra roster spot, I'd say, where you can add the DH. You can kind of be more flexible with your roster itself, where you can, because you don't have to pinch hit or double switch as much, you can add a pitcher to the roster instead.
Andres, do you agree with the rule changes? Are you all for it?
I mean, hashtag pitchers who hit like Bartolo Colon is always a good thing to see. But listen, me personally, I'm a big fan of the game. Last year, if you don't live under a rock, you know that Jacob deGrom got hurt while he was batting. So the more Jacob deGrom we see, the better. So it's a good thing that they implemented finally the DH for the National League. And all the boomers that were complaining about the pitchers hitting, now they can see another batter. So +1 for the boomers.
We wanted to talk about the local teams. Now, Greg, I know it was discouraging news about the Mets a couple of days ago, but heading into the season, what are you guys hoping for? I mean, clearly you want to win, but realistic hopes for the Mets.
Realistic hopes,
and not for the diehard Met fans who believes it's World Series or bust. Yeah,
realistic hopes. I would say anywhere between 87 to 91 wins, wild card. I don't.
Wait, time out. Say that one more time, because on the football panel, I like to take notes and write that down.
Yeah, 87 between 87 and 91 wins. I think the Mets will be a wild card team. The Braves are the best team in the division. Not only did they win a World Series, they actually got better, and they're getting their best player back after an injury. So it's real scary times in that division. So I do think it will take anywhere 88 plus games to get a wild card spot. So, and if DeGrom is healthy, once we get into the postseason, that changes things, because DeGrom, Scherzer being able to go 4 times in a series is a good bet.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
So, but if we don't get into the if we get into the wild card with no DeGrom, our chances decrease significantly.
So, Andrew, what do you think so far about the Mets? Is Greg spot on here, or is he, giving his team too much credit?
Yeah, no, it's weird. I'm in agreement with Greg on 3 things in a row. So before
on the debut show.
Yeah, I know. I thought I'd come on here and be a little combative, but probably not.
We need, what? So, I'm going to need that at some point, because this whole agreeing doesn't necessarily work. I know how to push Greg's button. I haven't yet, but we haven't got to that point yet.
All right. So before the DeGrom injury, I had the Braves winning the division at 92 to 93 wins. I had the Mets at 90 to 91. With the DeGrom injury, I think they're an 86 to 89 win team. So a little below Greg's prediction. But I also think that, it sucks to hear as a Met fan, but if I'm DeGrom, I wouldn't rush back. Based on prior injuries, Michael Wacha had it, Brandon McCarthy had it, Matt Harvey had it, same exact injury, same exact spot. It's a 2 to 3 month return. For DeGrom in a contract season where he's still going to opt out, I would take until the All-Star break to come back. I would take longer and look out for himself. This is probably his last.
Is that
contract.
when he is due back though, by the All-Star? Is that what they're
predicting? June 1st.
June 1st is kind of what they're hoping for. If I was him, I would take the extra month and look out for myself. I get it. Mets fans are not going to want to hear that, but it's his last big contract most likely. And if he proves he's healthy in the second half, he's going to be the highest paid pitcher in baseball, regardless of the injury past.
Now, you just gave that advice, but let's talk realistically. Will he do that, though? Will he hold out, or?
Realistically, from what I've seen of the guy and heard of the guy from people in the clubhouse, he's a dog. He's a bulldog. He's going to want to get out there earlier than the projection. That scapular injury is in a weird spot. Greg's a pitcher. He knows it's better than hearing elbow and shoulder, but that injury is in a weird spot, especially for someone who's not a big hulking figure. And he's got a long arm path. And in regards to his kind of like the separation of his hips and where his arm goes, it's in a weird spot for him specifically. So I think June 1st is a little optimistic. I think mid-June is most likely where you'll get him back. But I think he's a Bulldog. He's going to want to come back sooner rather than later.
Andres, now I would ask you about the local teams, but you're a Red Sox fan. That may be difficult to do on this panel.
I could be objective. Come on, man. I'm a journalist.
Man. I don't know if
Come
you can
on,
be
man.
objective.
I'm a journalist.
Andrew, I don't know if you've ever been on a panel with Andres, but he will let you know his bias right away. I'll just give you.
Did you not watch Smoke and Mirrors 2 weeks ago, man? Come on, man.
I noticed the Boston Marathon jersey. Don't worry.
You know what? I'm gonna switch up the jersey just for you.
You don't have to do that. You see, look, you see the shenanigans we get into here. Okay. While he does that, let's look at the other side. The Bronx and the Yankees. Now, Greg, could you be objective when we talk about the Yankees for the fans? Because you have a target on you. In the Hitler Streets, there's a target on Greg about the Yankees.
Always. And here's the thing. It's funny because I have given the Yankees credit. While I have my issues with them personally, as the team, though, I have given them credit. And minus the whole cheating thing, because Yankee fans don't want to admit to their part in that.
Do I look better now?
That's where the target comes from.
Wait, say that again. Where does the target come? Because you're calling them out?
I'm calling them out on the fact that they also cheated, but they want to play woe is me with the Astros.
Listen, we have all season to talk about that and be petty. We could do that now and start it off.
I'm just saying, I'm just telling you where the target comes from.
Right. But in fairness, talking to some Yankee fans, some are thrilled for the season, some aren't thrilled for the season. Do they have any? I mean, clearly with the Yankees, there's always high expectations, but realistically, like again, we're trying to give the fans a realistic expectation. What are the chances for the Yankees here this year?
So I believe the Yankees are a great regular season team. They can win 93 to 96 games, but I think to win that division, you're going to need more than that. And I think what the Blue Jays have done is improve on their roster from last year. And I still have some questions about Severino behind Garrett Cole, and 3 through 5 in that rotation is also a question mark. We don't know what we're going to get from Nestor Cortez or Jameson Taillon. So in that sense, yes, I see the Yanks making a wild card, but once again, I see them stumbling in the playoffs because there's just something missing there.
Andres, let me go back to you about the Mets, and then you could also address the Yankees. So the Mets first, and objectively about the Yanks. That's a hard question to ask a Red Sox fan, but
it's not. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is this is the first show of High Velocity, and you want to turn our correspondent into a heel, and it's only the first show.
No. Let's not do that. You see, I'm asking the questions. I'm doing my job as host. I'm doing my job.
Why are you gonna turn Akon into a heel, man? Why can't we all just get along?
I didn't even say anything though. This is
first show of High Velocity. You want Akon to be a heel, man? Come on, you got great script writing up your sleeve. Let me tell you.
Hey, we will say villains and heels are more fun to watch than the face.
You see, he know. You see, unless you're Hulk Hogan, but we could talk about that later on. Andres, go ahead.
So, man, listen. I don't care what fan you're a team of. If you don't like watching Jacob deGrom throw a baseball, there's something wrong with you. You need to get that checked out. So as far as Mets fans, one of my friends, he's like a diehard Mets fan. He told me, listen, I don't have the Mets in the playoffs because every year I have high expectations and they just let me down. So let me go into the season with no expectations and be surprised regardless. I think that the Mets with Scherzer, God willing, Scherzer stays healthy. I think he can hold down the fort until deGrom gets back in June. I think a lot of things are going to be different for the Mets this year, given that Buck Showalter's in the clubhouse and stuff, and they have someone that's not a yes man. I know there's a lot of people out there that prefer veterans over rookies. Me personally, I'm a players head coach. I would have loved to see Beltran back with the Mets. I wouldn't have minded that at all. But obviously, we know there's a lot of politics going on right now in baseball. As far as the expectation goes, honestly, if deGrom gets back healthy, and God willing he does, I don't see why the Mets can't be a World Series team. As far as the pitching goes, if you're in a playoff series and you're facing deGrom and Scherzer, and then you got to face Bassett in your game 3, you got to pray to whatever God you believe in that they don't go more than 6-7 innings, because once they get to that bullpen, it's going to be crazy. Another thing to point out is Edwin Diaz. When the Mets traded for him, obviously what they envisioned in the 2019 season is not what happened, but the odds of him having that season again is like slim to none. I think Edwin Diaz is going to have a great year, and the Mets are going to be fine. They could go all the way to the World Series, but let's not go on that cloud. Let me keep it
Don't
at.
jinx them. Are you listen? Don't
I'm not
plant
trying to
seeds
listen,
yet.
man. I love
Don't
watching
plant
DeGrom
seeds yet.
pitch. He's box office. I'm just gonna say the Mets are gonna be a solid playoff team, and it's gonna be hard to beat them 4 out of 7 times. Now, let's go to the 7 train. Let's hop on the 7 train. Let's go to the Bronx. In
Seven
my
train.
non-biased opinion, I feel like the Yankees are a great regular season team, and they're gonna win a lot of games because of their bullpen. Not necessarily their starting pitching, but their bullpen always shows up every year. So as much as I want to say that the Yankees are going to win 56 games, it's obviously not going to happen. We got a job for Aaron Boone at Home Depot if the Yankees don't go all the way this year again, and they're probably not going to go all the way this year because that's who the Yankees are in the last 13 years, ever since George Steinbrenner passed away. They're not the team anymore. They're not that evil empire. Let me think about it like this, Carl. Last year, the Yankees were supposed to win 162 games. They were supposed to face the Dodgers in the World Series, and they did nothing. This year, they're doing nothing. Until the clubhouse gets rid of Brian Cashman, they're doing nothing.
Well, you know what?
Simple.
Let me say this, Andrew. If you could, a lot of Yankee fans feel like it's Aaron Boone's time. Now, I always use in sports. My rule is always give them 4 years, right? You give a coach 4 years. That's always been fair for me. It's like, and then you can start to evaluate what have you done in 4 years in progression. But a lot of Yankee fans didn't want Aaron Boone from the beginning, and now here we are. What are your thoughts there with the managing role for the Yanks?
So we all know New York's a what have you done for me lately town. But I do agree with Carl that it's a 3 to 5 year thing for a manager, especially when you're inheriting a roster that he did. Think about it. They wanted Girardi gone real fast. They brought in Boone, and what happened? They were crying for Girardi to come back. I thought they ran Girardi out of town too fast. Now, in regards to Boone, he's a different style manager. We know where the moves are coming. We know where his strategy is coming from. It's coming from someone over his head, if we're being honest. I think Cashman is more the issue than Boone, because at the end of the day, he's the guy who puts the roster together. I don't think Boone's a bad manager. I think he's kind of falling towards the New York media trap where people are killing him no matter what move he makes. Damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I wouldn't give up on him yet. I think they're still a 90-win team. If they win under 90 games, you could see him at getting axed. But I think it's more Cashman than Boone.
So at this point, in talking about Cashman, again, what's an available option? And clearly Cashman seems to have like his foot in the Yanks history ingrained in what he's. It's not a matter of what's Cashman doing lately. It seems to be of what he has done, which is why he still has a job, right? So
yeah, Cashman's not going anywhere unless he wants to go. I think it's kind of one of those where it's like, it's similar to the Giants, right? When the Giants had Reese back in the day and of course they were leaving on their terms. If the Yankees completely bomb, you might see a lot of talk of Cashman getting quote unquote fired. But I think the verbiage you'll get is, he took time to step down. As for what GMs are out there, the Yankees love their big splash name GM. I'd go after Theo Epstein, if we're being honest.
That's the first name that came to mind when I was thinking it was available.
I don't see Theo ever coming back into front office because of the issues that happened with all his assistants getting in trouble. And it's commonly known around baseball that, his front office was known as the frat house. And we see why nowadays. And also it'll restart his Hall of Fame clock. I think he kind of wants to stay out of it and just, wait to get into the Hall of Fame and then figure out what he wants to do. Because otherwise there was no other reason for him to leave so early. But he knew he had some skeletons there.
They're bringing in Derek Jeter.
We got Steph in the comments, Greg. I see you saying, "Boo." I'm trying to read it and see what's going on in the comments.
Yeah, Andres, I want to do it to you, but you threw me off when you said 7 train to the Bronx, man.
Yeah.
Listen, that's what Eddie said. Eddie said you take the 7 train. I take a different train, man. I don't know where Eddie's headed.
Don't listen to Eddie.
Sounds like Eddie. So let me play a little game here. So Andres' team are the Red Sox. Before I allow him to address his own team, Greg, do you have any expectations for the Red Sox this year?
I think the Red Sox are going to be a good team, but I think they're going to just miss the playoffs because I also think the Rays are slightly better. I think losing Chris Sale to the 60-day IL hurts. And I think that's where the 3 to 5 game difference can come in and will be the difference between them and the Rays getting one of those last wild card spots.
Andrew, what are your thoughts on the Red Sox?
Yeah, the losing Sale's huge. There's no way to replace him, especially when, the back end of your rotation is Waka and Hill. We know what Rich Hill is. He's a 5 inning guy. Waka just got bombed by the Twins. And we saw Waka firsthand with the Mets and everywhere he's been since he got injured in St. Louis. He's not great at all. Yeah, the back end of their rotation has a lot of problems. Sale, the rib issue is a tough one to get over, especially with his mechanics. They're going to score a ton of runs. There's no denying that. They're going to score a lot. But I don't love their starting rotation. I have them right under the Yankees as well in the division. And that division is a gauntlet. Let's be honest. Yeah. Every team is good. Obviously, the Orioles suck, but the Orioles are still going to win 60, 65 games. It's just I could see the Red Sox contending for that last wild card spot, but I could easily see them, not making it by 2 or 3 games.
Andres, do you agree with the rest of the panel here on your team?
Absolutely not. No, I don't. I'm going to tell you why.
Before you start,
before I start, okay,
Nate,
okay.
Yeah, Nate Eovaldi, by the way, is a sleeper Cy Young candidate.
Absolutely. He finished top 5 in win above replacement last year among pitchers.
Yep, and one of the best FIPS in the league too.
So Andres, why do you disagree? I mean, I'm not surprised that you disagree, but
bro, what are we kidding? You're sending shots to Akon, you're sending shots to me, not to Greg. This is hey, bro.
Not yet, because here's the thing though. When I send shots to Greg, it goes into another narrative, and I'm not trying to do that on the show. I'm trying to behave and be
You're trying to be cordial. Oh, okay.
I'm trying to be a new car here.
Yeah.
This is not smoke and mirrors. This is not on the court. This is high velocity. So I'm doing the best I can not channel my inner hate for Greg at this point.
Hate is a big word. Don't say that word. Hate is a big word. You got your split personality going on.
Right. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Great movie. In my non-biased opinion, the reason why I think that Greg and Akon I don't agree with is because last year Chris Sale only started in 9 games. So this year we're at least going to get. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy for the last 4 months of baseball. So the only reason why I'm going to disagree is because that Chris Sale last year he was on the injured list at least until August, if I'm not mistaken. I know this year. The thing is, with the Red Sox last year, everyone said the same thing that you guys are saying this year. The starting rotation is not good. That offense can win you games, but the starting rotation isn't good. But when you look at this lineup 1 through 9, it's probably in my non-biased opinion, probably a top 7 lineup in baseball. And obviously with Nate Eovaldi, we know what you're gonna get out of him. Nick Pivetta did amazing in the postseason last year. I don't know if you guys watched that Game 3 against the Rays, but it's on YouTube and it's free. So learn baseball. Go watch Nick Pivetta. Tanner Houck, another pitcher. He was amazing. Last year in the playoffs. Michael Wacha, he should be working at Home Depot, but we'll see what we get out of him. Rich Hill, he's like 60 years old. He's like trying to pull a Jamie Moyer. I don't know why he's still pitching, but hey. But listen, when you break it down, the 9 players, you got Devers, Bogarts, Trevor Story, Bobby Dahlbeck, Vaz behind the plate. You got Jackie Bradley Jr. in right, Kike Hernandez, and Alex Verdugo. The outfield defense is not going to get better than that. I know Verdugo had some questionable plays, but JBJ knows Fenway like the palm of his hand. And obviously we know what Kike Hernandez brings to the table as a center fielder. So I'm going to go out of a limb and disagree and say that we're going to solidly be a wild card team.
Let me ask this question, Greg. Mike Trout, any expectations for him coming back off that calf injury from last year?
Just to be probably a top 3 player in baseball. This is what he does.
I mean, but can he though? Again,
yeah.
Off an injury season.
Yeah. Trout's worst seasons while injured are some guys' career years. We just don't know that because the MLB doesn't market him well, and the Angels are bad or have been bad. But Trout literally has been putting up Barry Bonds numbers prior to him being in San Francisco.
Not even that with Trout. He's just so good that we're just accustomed to MVP seasons. He's the first guy in MLB history to place top 3 in MVP voting for his first 5 years in the game. He's incredible. He is the greatest player of this generation. Even coming back off an injury, I expect him to still be Trout. Last year, I don't think he rushed back because they were out of it.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that he gets moved? Is there a chance? I mean, this may be a wild take, but is there a chance that, again, would it be better that he gets moved for his career?
No.
That he is more
no.
I'm just asking.
I think him being a South Jersey guy, he's more low key. I don't think he would do well in a big market because he doesn't care for the publicity.
I can give you 400 million reasons why he shouldn't go to another team.
The only place he's moving is to left field. It's the only place he's going.
Andres, give me 2 reasons. Give me the 2 reasons, at least 2 out of the million that you say you can have.
400 million. Those are my reasons. So wait, I'm going to answer the question. You said, what are your expectations for Mike Trout? I'm going to keep it short, simple, and sweet to be Mike Trout. That's it.
That's it. Go ahead, Greg. You had a point.
Yeah, and a player of Trout's caliber, I'm sure he's excited to play with Ohtani for a whole season.
Yeah,
and to be at the top of that lineup, because now you're looking at somebody who, in all honesty, can be a back-to-back MVP on the same team.
Also, not for nothing, Anthony Rendon's finally healthy too.
Yeah.
And you got Jared Walsh at first base. I don't think people should sleep on him either.
They're not a bad team, man. Joe Adell's going to be a stud. David Fletcher, he's always on base. Max Stassi can stick it a little bit. They have Marsh coming up. They're not going to be bad. I think they're going to be over 500.
One of their moves I really liked is the ex-Yankee Tyler Wade.
Would you guys agree that this is the first year in a while that there's like 14, 15 like solid teams that can make the playoffs?
I would say it also helps with the expanded playoffs, but yes.
Yeah, I think the AL is a little deeper, but this is one of the first years where 2 or 3 teams can win any division.
Yeah, any division. Let me see.
I can't remember if it was Khan or somebody else that said the Twins are a potential sleeper in the Central to challenge 100%. The White Sox. I you know what? I agree. I didn't pick them, but I can see it.
So
I called that. I even called that before the injuries to Lynn, Crochet, Kopech, and everyone.
So Greg, you're picking the Twins as your super team.
Man.
Well, no. In the I actually picked the White Sox to win the division, and then my sleeper team in the Central was the Guardians.
I like their team also, especially with Bieber healthy. Their pitching is deep.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm going to try to start this. Well, go ahead. You had another point before.
No, I was just saying that division is going to be a lot more competitive than it's been in a long time.
Yeah, the Tigers going to be a solid 500 team, honestly.
The Tigers are going to surprise a lot of people. Their over-under was 76 wins. I love the over on them, especially with their young guys coming up and playing. Sucks that Riley Green got hurt, but he'll be up soon.
Yeah, he'll be up. And then
so I wanted to try to start something new on this new show on the hit list is a player of the week, right? Going into this opening inaugural week of the MLB season, you guys looking at the schedule and looking at players, who would you say would be your player of the week for the first week in the MLB? Andres, let me start with you.
Oof, you're gonna put me on the spot. Listen, like I said, I feel like everyone's gonna say Ohtani, so I have to go out of a limb, man. Oof. You know what? The odds of this guy having another bad year are the same as me hitting something on FanDuel. I'm gonna go with Francisco Lindor.
That's my sleeper MVP pick.
I'm gonna go with Lindor. Lindor is gonna have a great year. Pitcher, Carl. Pitcher is hard, but if you really think about it, the reason why Zach Greinke signed with the Royals is because he's probably trying to have another good year and then retire. So if Zach Greinke has another All-Star year in his last year, don't be surprised.
So is that your pitcher of the week? Zach Greinke's your pitcher of the week?
No. Oh my God.
I'm getting ahead. All right, so now it's twofold. You got a player and a pitcher. So player of the week, pitcher of the week.
Pitcher of the week, I'm gonna play it safe. Let me go Corbin Burns.
Okay. Andrew?
Yeah, so I was looking at matchups earlier. There's 3 guys that kind of stood out to me. Jose Ramirez faces KC in Cincinnati this week. He should be able to mash, against those 2 teams. Wander Franco stands out to me. Baltimore and Oakland they face. And then my sleeper for the player of the week, Dylan Carlson. They face Pittsburgh and KC this week. Carlson's a stud. The kid hits from both sides of the plate. He sprays the ball gap to gap, and it looks like he's going to be hitting leadoff for the Cardinals. So those are my 3, J-Ram, Wander, and Carlson. For pitcher, I love Max Fried. Fried gets Cincy, and I forget who the second team is, but he's slated for 2 very nice matchups this week. And, he might not get the huge strikeout numbers, but he gets outs. And it looks like they fixed his tipping of the pitches where he had a different release point on his curveball in some of the games in the playoffs last year, and they fixed it. So I love Max Fried. He's also my sleeper on the NL Cy Young.
I wonder if the other team noticed that on video replay.
Greg, who are your players, pitcher and player of the week?
So
Right. The other team is the Nationals or Padres, by the way. Akon.
my
Thank
pitcher
you.
of the week, I'm gonna go with Scherzer, Mad Max, going against his former team. I think he's gonna have a big one. I think there's gonna be a lot of emotions flowing, and it's at Nationals Park. So I think he'll definitely want to dominate there. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick the rookie right here to show out, Jeremy Pena against the Angels. I'm not sure who his second matchup is, but I'm expecting big things from this kid, and I kind of expect a seamless transition from Carlos Correa to Jeremy Pena at shortstop for the Astros.
Yeah,
Is
so
Wander
Greg-
Franco
Lofty,
Elliott? Is Wander
What'd you say,
Franco?
Con?
I said very lofty. I love it.
Indeed.
And Wander is not rookie eligible. No,
No, he's not. Okay, that's what I figured.
no.
Because he played half a season.
Going back to the Burns point, by the way, 17-mile-an-hour winds currently in Chicago, Milwaukee's game. So you might see some fireworks today.
Dude, talk about a situation where you never want to play outfield, where wind is above 10 miles an hour. Especially in a city like that. Catching a
Listen-
fly ball is already an adventure as it is, but then you throw in a wind chill factor plus 10.
Listen,
Man.
Greg, if you want to keep that for when you go on Sunday until I come back in May, you can do the play of the week just to kind of keep track of what players
No
do.
problem. We can keep track of that.
And speaking of the Nationals, I've been dying to do a game in Washington, D.C. because we go there every year, but the missus isn't with it. And I'm trying to look up tickets to try to convince her to go to a Washington Nationals
That's
game.
So,
the
let me
sports
tell you
hit
something.
list.
I
I
have
really
a great
want
selling
to.
point. I have
Not
a great
about-
selling point for the Nats, by the way.
Go ahead.
Behind right field, they have a beer garden that is absolutely beautiful, where you can see the game. You can literally live broadcast from that beer garden. It's beautiful there.
I'm trying to. I've been trying
But-
for years.
Yo, Carl, here's the thing. It's not just about the game. The city is also a great place to visit. There's a
It's
lot of
beautiful.
I know, yeah. I go every
Beautiful.
year, bro. I've been going every year since 2016, and
And-
we go in the summer, and I want to do a game, but it's not on the slate.
Don't say you want to do a game. Say you want to go out there with her together. Enjoy the
I
rest.
do. We
The
do.
food
though,
scene is
bro.
incredible.
I'm gonna talk to you. I do. I
The
try,
sports
though.
hit list takes on Nationals Park. Let's make
Listen,
it happen.
I'm trying. It's
Yo.
gonna cost me a lot more than you guys think to get to that game, but I'm trying.
Make sure you guys ride on the scooters through DC at like 3 a.m.
I'll definitely try. So I'm gonna have to ask this question, and I have to be that guy and that host to do it. World Series predictions I can get on paper that you're comfortable making here on the first edition of High
my
Velocity,
God.
because you know what I'm gonna do, right? Because when we get to October, the media man's gonna pull the tape. I did it with the Super Bowl team. I do it with the NBA team. I asked the first day. So I'm going to pull the tape. So be careful and wise when you make your prediction. And I understand the health is a factor.
Safe prediction.
Sheesh,
Greg,
man.
so Greg, you
You're
going
killing
first?
me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the safe prediction and go Dodgers Astros. But I'm gonna pick a sleeper team. Can I pick a sleeper team in each league?
Are we allowing it? It's up to the panel if we want to allow a sleeper team.
I'm in
usually
favor.
just do two teams.
I'm
I
in
usually
favor.
just do two teams. I don't know if I allow a sleeper pick. I just do two.
New show, new rules.
Yeah. Our show. Let the kids play. Yes, sir.
All right, so
So-
fine. So what are your sleeper teams, Greg?
Jays in the AL and in the NL. I'm actually gonna go with the Braves.
Wait,
How
can I ask a
that's a
question?
sleeper?
Are
How's
the
that a
Jays
sleeper?
really a sleeper? Yeah.
I mean, to make the
What?
you know what? All right.
The Jays
that's
have the
fair.
highest over/under win total in the AL.
You know what? That's fair. We'll go Guardians then.
Wow,
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a hibernation, not a sleeper.
I like that. I've never heard that one before. I like that.
And in the NL, so we gotta go Guardians of the AL, and in the NL, I'm gonna go Padres.
So you got Dodgers,
I'm,
Astros,
I'm okay.
sleeper,
I'm okay
Padres
with that
versus
because they
Guardians.
didn't make the playoffs last year.
Right, Greg? That's what you're saying, Greg. You're saying Dodgers, Astros as official, but then
Yeah,
Padres, Guardians as your
Sleeper
backup,
picks,
sleeper picks.
Listen, man, that Padres rotation, it's shaky. They don't have their top 5 player back till July. I don't know, man. I don't know.
it's a long
All right.
season, bro. It's a long season.
Andrew,
I
so
don't
you
know,
get
man.
an official pick, and then you get your sleeper pick.
Perfect. The Dodgers are the class of the NL to me, and I think the Jays get there. I think Manoah ends up being a potential Cy Young guy if he gets his walks down. He's incredible.
So that's your first pick
my-
is Dodgers, Jays.
Yeah. It's. I
Okay.
think those are the two class teams of the league, of each league. My sleepers. In the NL, I'm going the Brewers. I think the Brewers rotation is absolutely, rock star.
Disgusting.
Freddie Peralta in their 3 spot is nuts. And the Brewers always make a move to get someone. So I have faith in their GM to give them the move to get over the top. My AL sleeper. Oof, this is tough. I'm going with the Angels as my sleeper.
I like it.
We're going.
Jesus, man.
We're
I wanna
going
see Ohtani in the
super
playoff.
sleeper.
Jesus,
going
man,
super sleeper
Jesus.
here.
This is. I'm.
This
Holy
is dicey. This is getting dicey.
Yeah,
Again,
damn.
October, we will pull the tape. We will pull the
No,
tape.
I would love to take the White Sox and the Rays, but I feel like they're potential division winners. So I want to go with teams who, like Angels haven't been in the playoffs forever. Let's mix it up.
I just want to say, if the
They haven't
Guardians
been
make a
yeah, they haven't been
run,
in a while. Yeah.
this is going to
8
be
years, 8 years.
Seattle Mariners making the playoffs take last year.
Yeah. By the way, the Mariners are a perfect sleeper team.
Yeah, I have them making a wild card, but I
The,
jumped with my
the White
pick.
Sox are frauds, man. They're not doing anything. As long as they have Tony
Yeah,
La Russa as their manager, they're not doing
I
anything.
Manny's trying to
100%
probably
agree
fight
that-
you in the comments now.
I agree that they win in spite of
Yeah.
Tony La Russa.
Absolutely.
They were that
Probably one of the
division
worst
last year
hires.
was so bad. Like that's why the White Sox made the playoff because the division was bad, not because they had like a great record against their division and against every other division they were terrible. I think it was like under 500 if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'm mistaken.
I actually think that the AL is pretty wide open compared to the NL. There's a lot of teams in that mix.
I agree.
Andres, your official picks and your sleeper picks.
God. All right, here we go. Declan Krogman, I'm looking directly at you in the camera.
Oh boy.
The Astros are coming out of the AL once again. Looking directly at you. I know how much you love the Astros. Even though you hate them, you're a big fan of them. The Astros are coming out of the AL once again. Oh. My sleeper pick for the American League comes from that same division with the Seattle Mariners. I'm not going to be biased and say the Red Sox, but watch out for the Red Sox. My sleeper pick is going to be the Seattle Mariners because if I pick the Blue Jays and the Rays, it's going to be boring. I want to shake the table.
So you got Houston as your official.
Yes.
And who did they face?
I don't want to play it safe, man. I want to shake the table. You know what? Greg Polius is going to enjoy a World Series game at Citi Field. We're going to go with the Mets. We're going to go
That's how I
Astros
feel
Mets.
about the Mets being picked to be in the World Series. Con, you know how that feels, right?
Oh man.
Listen, it's boring to say the Dodgers. It's boring. Like I get it.
That's why I went with the Angels as the sleeper. And to Greg's point, yeah, my wallet definitely remembers the 2015 playoff run.
Listen, I'll tell you this, Andrew. If you've not seen the video, Greg, I'm sure you've shared it with him. The best video of 2015 is Greg and his brothers running down the street in Brooklyn, I believe with the broom, yelling, sweep. Just it was the best thing ever. Someone in the archives. I don't think he was saying all that. There was a lot more he was saying in that video. I'm not going to say it right now because I am at a school facility, so I got to be careful what I'm saying.
I got my sleeper pick.
But go ahead, but Andres, we need to get that video. Someone pull that video up so we could rewatch it. That was probably the best video I've seen in years.
I got my sleeper pick for the National League. I don't think you're ready for this one, Carl. My sleeper pick is not going to be a common team, but it's a team that if they're in the postseason, you're watching them. The St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
I had them top 10 in my power rankings, my personal power rankings. Don't be surprised.
And for the American League, who did you have?
I actually have them winning the Central.
Wow.
A lot of people do have the Brewers because they have Woodruff, Corbin, and Freddie. So the Brewers' offense is awful. Like Christian Yelich.
That's what happens after.
Who did you have for the American League, Andres? I'm sorry. Who did you have for the American League?
Astros in the World Series, and then the sleeper pick is the Mariners. I don't want to say the Blue Jays or the Rays or the Red Sox. I gotta go out of a limb, man. I'm tired of being
smooth. Carl didn't even catch it.
No, because I was trying to get his thing. I'm trying to answer his question. What did he say?
No, I made reference to when the Brewers got caught cheating, and ever since then, Christian Yelich has looked like a average player.
Oh.
He is an average player.
You know what's crazy, Con? A lot of people think the Astros are the only team who cheated. So can you tell the viewers what the Brewers did?
So Evan Drellich and Ken Rosenthal, two of the most immensely talented reporters in the MLB, reported that the Rangers and Brewers were also in a cheating scandal. Why they didn't catch any flack? Because they didn't win a World Series. They weren't cheating well enough. But they were using sign stealing. And
Listen,
the
call me-
Brewers,
listen.
the Brewers.
Just
Go
call
for
me
it.
naive.
Can you let him finish his point,
I'm sorry.
man? Come
I'm sorry. You're right.
on, bro.
No.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No, both teams were using sign stealing techniques. The Brewers were using their massive scoreboard in center field, and once they got caught, they on the low switched it up. The MLB made them switch it, and since then their offense has trended down every year.
Told you, Carl. Fabric in the sport.
Listen, I was just about to try to elaborate on that because I remember on Monday on Smoke and Mirrors, and again, we could have this conversation all season long, but I'm just saying, I understand the sign stealing is ingrained in baseball and they've been doing it and just going about it. But again, cheating in baseball, like, does that not look just saying that? With
I'm gonna-
like Greg says it with like, oh yeah, we cheat, no big deal, no problem. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, no, everyone looks at it like, okay, in sports, again, when you play sports with the integrity, again, I never played, so maybe that's part of what it is. But in sports, they like to believe the sportsmanship, you play right, you play it the right way. But the way Greg makes it seem is like, oh yeah, coaches teach that all the time. It's cheating, we know it, it's okay. And everyone just turns an eye to it. Andres, I'll start with you.
Okay, so get the play the right way tape out of your mind. We're not in the Babe Ruth era anymore. Get that tape out of your mind. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna tell you why there's no problem. There are pitchers. Max Scherzer is a great example. There are pitchers that literally tell the batter what pitch you're throwing. Like, they look at them and they're like, fastball, and they throw it and they still can't hit it. There's a reason why there's nothing wrong with the cheating, in the sense that, like, if I know what pitch is coming, I still have to hit the ball. It's the same thing with the Barry Bonds thing with steroids. I can take 300 injections tomorrow and still not be able to hit a 99 meatball down the pipe. It's still going to happen. In high school, it's the same thing. In high school, there's a lot of coaches that they don't know how to use signs, so they use numbers. 331, 432. What's your job as a bench player? Decipher what they're saying. When I was in high school, I used to do the book for them, and they would be like 331, and I would yell out, "They're stealing, they're stealing," and they would be like, "Timeout." Like, they would, like, because you call out the plays. If I know that a fastball is coming, do you think I'm gonna hit it, Carl? If you know that a 99 mile per hour
Absolutely.
fast,
But
this
hold
isn't
on.
basketball, man. You're not hitting it.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Regardless if teams cheat or not, you still have to put the ball in play. It doesn't matter if I know that a 56 knuckle curve is coming or an 102 mile per hour fastball. If I'm cheating better than you, like Greg said, if I'm cheating better than you, what's the issue with that?
So then, you know what? So how about let's say again, Greg says let's get an advantage as opposed to saying cheating. Is that a better way of looking at it and saying that you're getting a clear-cut advantage?
No, your feelings are hurt by the word cheating.
No.
That's really what it is.
But can we say the word getting an
so
advantage?
bad in societal terms, when you're growing up, and
Right.
Colin can speak to this too, when you're growing up in the sport, it's not cheating. It's what you need to do to win.
Right.
Yeah,
but that part I
100%.
understand though. But you know what? But I think that's the word. I guess it's the term that basically throws me off and throws other people off when you say the word cheating as opposed to saying, listen,
You know,
basically trying
because
to get
like
an
I said
advantage
on
over
Monday, people don't realize how rampant it is in the sport. Colin,
Bro,
you can speak
baseball.
to it.
Bro, baseball.
can-
let me tell you something. Oh, hey, Con, you can go. I'm sorry, brother.
So I can speak to this. At every level of ball I've played, whether it was high school all the way through college, even to now, there's been sign stealing. I do it to Greg personally during our games. I'll be honest. And I expect him to do the same, to have a system with his brothers and his teammates. It's just in the fabric of the game. It's been happening for years. The St. Louis Cardinals were caught hacking into another team's computer database
Wow.
to steal scouting reports. That's how ingrained it is in this sport. Sign stealing is like apple pie in America. It's just, it is what it is. It's just a matter of just don't be stupid and get caught. And if you get caught, whatever, you get a slap on the wrist. The Cubs were using their scoreboard for years to the point where they made them move the whole scoreboard. Sign stealing is just what it is in the game. I was taught sign stealing at age 12 in a Williamsport tournament. In high school, we did it to where we would study the other team's signs for the third base coach to understand it. Nowadays, if a runner's on second base, I almost expect there to be a system. You know, especially myself, as I've caught for many years, I have to know to mix up my signs. That's why now they're using the pitch comms where it's in hopes to mitigate sign stealing, but it's fabricated in the game. And to speak upon if 99 is coming down the pipe and if you could hit it, no, you can't. I've seen 97 with movement, still hard to hit. I've seen 95 plus very often, still hard to hit, even if you know it's coming.
And
Let me
then
tell you
add a
something,
little wrinkle
Carl.
in there and a breaking ball, and it just throws everything off.
Let me
Right,
tell you
Andre.
something,
Greg,
Carl.
to speak one last point to speak on that. I faced Jack Leathersich all the time in college. I faced Dylan Betances for many years where he would
We
tell us
both
what
did.
was coming. He would tell us where it was coming during summer ball. We knew what was coming. And Dylan was still throwing 95 to 97, and it
At
was
16.
incredibly hard. And that was with metal bat, and it was still hard to really square up a ball. People underestimate how hard it is, even when you know what's coming.
Well, I'll say this. I guess Carl has a lot to learn this season, and High Velocity will be here to teach me a few things.
Hell
I need to know.
yeah. It's the greatest
because-
sport ever, man.
But I will say this, Greg. Can
Let
I
me-
break
wait,
the
wait.
news live before we sign off?
One second. I do want to address Steph's point because I think he made a great point.
Go
He
ahead.
said, isn't only cheating if it goes against the rules? What MLB rule says you can't peek in and see the signs the catcher is dropping? These teams were taking advantage of the systems, not cheating.
Okay.
They were
100%.
so
right.
when a pitcher is tipping pitches, what are you gonna say? Oh no, he don't swing or swing. Come on, man.
And then what he
Then-
was saying is now that teams have involved technology, which was a natural progression of things, now if you're so against it, then you create a rule for it.
Right. Well, the other part of it is speaking from the media perspective, and
The
this is where.
integrity of the game.
Well,
Come on,
again,
man.
and this is where I kind of have to agree with Greg. This doesn't happen often, Greg. So
Whoa,
take this,
whoa,
it doesn't happen often.
Whoa.
The media, I guess, the narrative is that the cheating is bad, and that the integrity. That's where that comes from. Is like, oh my
it's
god,
a sexy headline. Simple
yeah,
as that.
right,
Yeah.
right. That's what.
Let me tell you
Let's
something.
be honest. There's never been integrity in any sport. If we're being honest.
Ever.
You can go back to the Babe Ruth era. Yeah, there's real integrity taking drugs and uppers and downers and greenies
And
before a
snorting
game.
coke and getting drunk
Yeah,
before
there's
games.
never-
But
Babe Ruth-
is it fair though? Can we say though, out of the four major sports, the baseball has had the most, I guess, cheating scandals? Is that fair to say or no?
I mean, basketball.
That's a fair question. I'm
Hold
just
on,
asking
hold
a question.
Basketball with shaving points. They had referees taking money. So
They did fair, they
Basketball
did.
basketball
Tim
also
Donaghy.
has basketball also has lotteries rigged. Like, come on, man.
mhm.
But wait, to get to my point, Greg is a New York Jets fan. If the Jets tomorrow win the Super Bowl and years later comes out that they cheated, do you think Greg is going to care?
Absolutely
No.
not. Absolutely not.
Greg at this point will settle for 8 wins.
Right?
Damn.
Greg, can I make my announcement on the show now? Can I
Go
make it?
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Sports Hit List is proud to officially launch the documentary division. We have our first documentary being released in June 3rd on Taekwondo and Master Joe. And our second documentary will be featuring Greg, Steph, and Garrison as we follow their 2022 season playing as adults. So we'll be documenting that. That will be coming out this fall. So Greg and I have been working on this for years and years and years, and I finally gave the green light. So this coming fall, you will get that documentary of the brothers, of their journey playing baseball. I'm proud and happy to work on this project. It's going to be difficult because Greg and I are always going back and forth, but I know it'll be a great one. Documenting everything in their family, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's the big announcement I want to say.
Okay,
And
so
something you may not realize, Carl, Khan runs the team in the same division we're playing in. So we're going to be playing against him all year, and we might see them in the playoffs.
Well, listen, that'll be great to get on camera, and Khan definitely want to get you on an interview. Playing against Greg.
100%.
So,
I also have a mini con bomb too. Our game is already on the schedule.
Oh, it came out?
It's already on there.
I know they only had one game up. They added more?
No, it's up there, man. I look forward to going 4 for 4 against you. It's okay.
Listen, let me get my hands on that. Listen, I need my hands on that schedule right now to start scheduling shoots.
No, we'll get it to you. I look forward to watching it and being part of it, man. I've been playing against Greg for almost a decade now, right?
Yeah. I just count. I think it might be 12 years in this league.
Yeah, man.
I remember
I look
Greg
forward
playing,
to seeing this, man.
Greg playing back in high school, playing at Hofstra during his journey. So it's been a lot, but there's a lot to talk about. There's no story arc yet. And again, I'm not going to give too much away, but this documentary will premiere in the fall. We're hoping for October, November release. And again, it's going to be pretty exciting for sure.
there might be a great drinking game where take a shot every time you two disagree. I might have to look into that.
Listen, there's a lot of behind the scenes politics with Greg and I, but it's all in love because we all want the best for each other, honestly. And he definitely does push me and he gets on my nerves. My wife's the first person to know that. Anytime I get upset, she go, "Who is it? Greg now again?" I'm like, "Yep, it's Greg." But it's all in love, though. It's all in love. It's all in love. He definitely
Speaking
does
ill
push
of
my
the
buttons.
misses, wow.
No, not at all. Not at all. But guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Wait,
here on
wait,
the-
before we go, I'm gonna shake the table. I know I'm not the host, but I'm gonna shake the table. Greg and Mr. Akon, one flaming hot take for this season.
Oof.
Flaming hot take.
Flaming hot take. That's a tough one, man.
Ooh. I don't know.
I
If
feel
this
like
is-
I've dropped so many of them. Yeah,
I don't know if this is flaming hot, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say once O'Neal Cruz comes up, he's gonna hit 40 bombs.
Wow. Ooh,
Sheesh.
Woo.
That's a good take.
I
Damn.
love it though.
40.
I love it.
Yeah.
Andrew, go for it.
My hot take is that there will be rumblings, if not happening, that Juan Soto will be moved at the deadline.
That is a hot take. Heard it here
Imagine.
first on High Velocity, and that man knows what he knows.
We need to get that clip. I'm gonna get that clipped and get out there in the streets for you. Guys,
All
thank you
right.
so much for joining us. Wait, you have one? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My flaming hot take. The Dodgers do not make the NLCS.
Okay. You think they're one and done, or they don't make the playoffs at all?
Good question.
They don't. Oh, no, they're not. They're not making. No, they'll make the NLDS, but they're not playing for a championship this year.
One and done.
Who takes them out? Who takes them out?
Oof. When we get to the matchups, we'll see. But I don't know. Listen, I'm Carl. I do mean to extend the show. Like I don't care. Andrew. So it feels
Bro,
like
I gotta get back to work, man. I'm in the middle.
that's fine. Andrew, it
Extend
feels
the
like
show.
every year America has a team, and this year it's the Blue Jays. Do you think they can go all the way?
Oh, 100%. I think their starting pitching is deep enough. I don't think Kikuchi is that good. I think Pearson ends up coming up and taking his spot, but I think Alek Manoah is a future ace.
Okay. All right, Carl, you can close the show. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on High Velocity. Greg, what time are you got the High Velocity on Sunday at 7:00, right?
Yep, Sunday, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Please make sure today you check out. We have the B show at 6:00 with the first lady, the only lady of the Sports Hitler Streets, Mrs. Deborah Voltaire Coulange. And we have the roster with Travis and Paul to get your all NFL off season at 7:30. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And then after High Velocity on Sunday, Monday, we're right back with Smoke and Mirror Mondays at 7:15 with Dex, Steph, and Greg. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to working with you guys all season long. We're gonna have some fun with the show. And you guys
Yes,
have
sir.
a great day.
Baseball is back, baby. Let's
Yeah.
go.